2025 best time to buy is October. And the national sweet spot, that's the week of October 12th to the 18th, based on an analysis of historical and current market conditions conducted by Realtor.com. Factor one is price drop. As you can see around week 41, prices tend to naturally drop, and they're projected to drop 3.4% for a savings of $15,000 on a median priced home in the mid 400s nationally. Factor two is more price reductions. This is a peak week for price cuts. You can see by the red line that there's historically a lot of price drops in this week. Sellers who listed in the spring and the summer, they're getting a little more desperate, and this can be a huge advantage to buyers who are looking to negotiate. Factor three is a slower market pace. Homes are starting to linger, and you can see in the graph the thick purple line is around 58 days, and that's the median nationally. What that helps the buyer do is slow down and think a little more about the decision. It allows them to get a proper inspection and possibly even avoid waiving contingencies. Those first three factors being considered, there are still some challenges in the market. Inventory is the highest it's been since 2019. But high rates and affordability are keeping buyers cautious, thus presenting this autumn opportunity. Factor four is peak inventory levels. This graph shows that there's a 32.6% higher inventory in this week than compared to the beginning of the year. This gives the buyer the maximum number of homes to choose from without the frenzy of the spring season. Factor five is fresh listings. So even though we're getting late in the year, this week is expected to see the most new listings than any other time the rest of the year. And you can see that by the downward trend of all the years prior. This fact is crucial for buyers with specific criteria. Factor six is that competition dips. You can see that measured as page views versus the start of the year, our target week, October 12th to the 18th, is about 30.6% lower than the peak it had in the summer. So why the dip in competition? Families are starting to get settled after the start of the school year, and the general population thinks that the buying season's over. That might be true in some areas, or more true in some areas, but where I'm at in the Northeast Texas area, we're 12 months a year, and you'll definitely have buyers in every market buying during this time of year. So the week of October 12th to the 18th gives you more choices, lower prices, and far fewer rivals. But what if you don't live in the national average? This is where local market sweet spots come in. You can see that this is the best time to buy in the top 50 largest metro areas. In general, Chicago is early and Miami is going to be late. And we'll take a look at some key cities here. However, we're going to put a link in the description so that you can check out your closest market area. So if we start, let's just say we look at Dallas-Fort Worth. Dallas-Fort Worth actually is a little early. September 28th to October 4th is the best week. Now remember, it's going to include the weeks around that as well. Houston, also in my state of Texas, is right in the sweet spot. We've got, Miami. So Miami, we talked about it being later, November 30th to December 6th being the sweet spot there. New York, September 14th to the 20th, even a little bit earlier. What else do we want to see? San Francisco is right in the sweet spot, right along with, in my state, San Antonio, October 12th to the 18th. However, Seattle, October 19th to the 25th. But remember, look in the description and we'll put a link to this entire article so you can check out your metro area. Let's look at a couple of alternate strategies. Strategy 1 would be if price is your priority. You may decide to wait even later, maybe November, December. Prices might drop more and rates may be better. Those are a big might and a big maybe. The trade-off is that inventory is probably going to be lower. Strategy 2 is if choice is your priority. You may decide to buy earlier to maximize fresh listings. The trade-off is prices might be slightly higher. So in conclusion, the key date for 2025 is this October 12th to the 18th, that week. But listen, this is a personal journey and we understand that. I encourage, if you're thinking about buying, get pre-approved with a lender. Start monitoring the inventory either by working with your real estate agent or going to your favorite site that has property listings. We'd love it if you'd like, subscribe, and drop your city in the comments.